तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and we are reading the conversations of Saturday, May 24, 1884. That day was the earlier night was Kalaharini Kali Puja. So the drama Sri Ramakrishna had seen in the early morning, and those actors, mainly the lead actor, he is putting questions to Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna is very tenderly replying to him and is praising them. After that, we find that this is all actor. Okay. Then Rakhal was taking food. This is all actor. Okay. Then, the morning, whole morning is talk to the actors only, no? That Banerjee and all others? No. Okay, morning was with the actor. Then Sri Ramakrishna had rested on his bed, and then Hari, Narayan and Narendra Banerjee came, and Thakur was talking to them. And then two ladies, devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, entered the room and saluted the master. So, talk with those two ladies was there. And then it was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Then other Dr. Nitai M and several other devotees were with him. So master came down a step and sat. He was sitting on the steps of the Shiva temples. Then he comes down and sits with them. And then he's telling many things about what his talk with Keshav was. So we get that conversation. Then now we come to, that is the last line on page 434, English, and in Bengali also, that is the last line on page 435. The master, Sri Ramakrishna, came down from the steps of the Shiva temples, because there are 12, and went to his room through the courtyard. The devotees were with him. Just then, Ram Chatterjee is one of the priests, though he is Chatterjee, he is not related to Thakur, but he is a priest and who loves Thakur and takes great care of other devotees also who live with Thakur. So Ram Chatterjee came and said that the Holy Mother's attendant had an attack of cholera. So it is a dangerous disease. Ram to the master. I told you about it at 10 o'clock this morning, but you didn't pay any attention to me. Master, what could I do? You had told me, but what could I have done? Because of the Holy Mother's attendant, so Thakur must immediately do something, but what is Thakur's expected to do? Ram, yes, what could you do? He knows that it is like that. But there were Rakhal, Ramlal and others, even they didn't pay any attention. So he has told, when in the presence of all, M, then M intervenes. Kishori has gone to Alam Bazar to get medicine. Kishori, there are two Kishoris. One is Master Masha's younger brother and one is Master Masha's brother-in-law. So which of them is this we do not know, but one of them. So Kishori also must have been in the morning, or Master Masha might have told him later on, he has gone to Alambazar to get medicine. Then Master is asking, alone? Where will he get medicine? M, yes, alone. He will get it at Alambazar. Because cholera, there will be standard medicines, so he may get to some chemist shop and bring it. Master to M. Now he takes little attention. Tell the nurse what to do if the illness takes a turn for the worse or if the patient feels better. So if the medicine is given and if it improves, then what is to be done? And if it worsens, then what is to be done? You instruct the nurse about it. Because M has taken the responsibility. M, yes, sir. Now the ladies mentioned before saluted the master and were about to take their leave. They were not with Thakur all the time. They must be going to temples or Holy Mother or somewhere. But they came back, it seems, to Thakur because they want to go back from Dakshineshwar. The ladies mentioned before saluted the master and were about to take their leave. Sri Ramakrishna again said to them what he had told at the end of the talk in the morning, perform the Shiva Puja according to my instruction and have something to eat before you come here. Otherwise, I shall feel unhappy. Come another day. That also he had told that day. Because they wanted Diksha, Thakur said, come here again. So they have gone now. Sri Ramakrishna sat down on the porch west of his room. Narendra Banerjee, Hari, M and others sat by his side. The master knew about Narendra's family, another Narendra, not this Narendra Banerjee. No, I'm mistaken. This very Narendra Banerjee had family difficulties. We have been told that he lived away from his father, separate house and all that. The master knew about Narendra's family difficulties. Master, you see, all these sufferings are because of a piece of loincloth. There is a big story associated with that. So let us read it from the footnote. A reference to the following story which Sri Ramakrishna often told his devotees. There was a sannyasi whose only possession was 2 pairs of loincloths, langoti as we call it. One day, a mouse nibbled at one piece. 2 pairs, you understand? One is the langoti, one is the nadi with which it is tied. That is a pair. And like that, 2 pairs. One day, a mouse nibbled at one piece. So the holy man kept a cat to protect his loincloths from the mouse. Then he had to keep a cow to supply milk for the cat. Later, he had to engage a servant to look after the cow. Gradually, the number of his cows multiplied. He acquired pastures, farmland. Pastures mean grazing land and farmland means crops. He had to engage a number of servants. Thus he became in course of time a sort of landlord. And last of all, he had to take a wife to look after his big household. One day, one of his friends, another monk, happened to visit him and was surprised to see his altered circumstances. When asked the reason, the holy man said, "It is all for the sake of a piece of loincloth." So, how one trouble leads to another in the householder's life. But the example is given of a sannyasi. You see, all these sufferings are because of a piece of loincloth. A man takes a wife and begets children. No, the householder's life. Man. A man takes a wife and begets children, therefore, he must secure a job. Householder. The sadhu is worried about his loincloth and the householder about his wife. Further, the householder may not live on good terms with his relatives, so he must live separately with his wife. With a laugh, Chaitanya once said to Nityananda, "Listen to me, brother. A man entangled in worldliness can never be free. Sansari gati nahi. Worldliness." Aim to himself. Perhaps the master is referring to the world of avidya. It is the world of avidya that entangles a householder. So aim in his mind differentiates. M was still living in a separate house with his wife on account of a misunderstanding with the other members of his family. And he is thinking like that. So master to Banerjee pointing to him, he also lives in a separate house. You two will get along very well. Once 2 men happened to meet. One said to the other, "Who are you?" "Oh, I am away from my country," was the other's reply. The second man then asked the first, "And who are you?" "Pray, oh, I am away from my beloved," was the answer. Both were in the same plight, so they got along very well. Now here let me check a little. There is a difference in Bengali. That is what struck me. Here both are put as men. In Bengali, both are women. One is Videshini and one is Virahini. So both are living apart from their husbands. One is in a different country. Country in Bengali does not mean outside India, outside Bengal. And the other is due to some other reason. That is the similarity. And Thakur is humorously, lovingly put it on Narendra Banerjee and Master Masha. Both are living with wife. They are not Videshini Virayini, but both had trouble in the family, and so they are living with their wives separately. And so there are several problems. This itself is a problem. And Master Masha was thinking mentally that it is about Avidya Shakti. So Thakur said that both of you belong to the same category. But Thakur, one need not have any fear if one takes refuge in God. God protects his devotees. So due to circumstances, they have to live like that. But if they surrender to God, God will see that they are not put to much trouble. So that would assure both of them, because both of them were sincere sadhaks. Hari. Now, Hari is not one of them, but Hari is asking at this point, well, why does it take many people such a long time to realize him? Oh, he has a direct spiritual question. He is expecting quickly because of his vairagya. Well, why does it take many people such a long time to realize him? Master, the truth is that a man doesn't feel restless for God unless he is finished with his enjoyments and duties. Enjoyments themselves enjoin some duties. So enjoyments and duties, when they are over, then that eagerness comes. Important point, duties a man feels so long as he has attachment. And then along with that there is enjoyment. So enjoyment themselves entail duties. When enjoyment and duties are over, then he will feel the real restlessness. In Vedanta, this is called Jnana Nishtha. And that man is acutely yearning for God. That may be Hari Maharaj's state. He is asking for in general. So Thakur is telling this. The physician says, referring to the patient, let a few days pass first, then a little medicine will do him good. So in certain diseases, immediately medicine is not given. When the fever, for example, subsides, then the medicine works. So Thakur gives that example. He knows everything of this world. Narada said to Rama, Ram, you are passing your time in Ayodhya. How will Ravana be killed? You have taken this human body for that purpose alone? Rama replied, Narada, let the right time come. Let Ravana's past actions begin to bear fruit. Then everything will be made ready for his death. So, everything in proper time. That's all. So, the sinners also require some time to get the fruit of their bad actions. Hari, why is there so much suffering in the world? Master, this world is the Leela of God. Sport without any realism. It is like a game. In this game, there are joys and sorrow, virtue and vice, knowledge and ignorance, good and evil. So this world consists of duels. That is the nature of this world. The game cannot continue if sin and suffering are altogether eliminated from the creation. So it is the very nature of creation. Otherwise, if all are virtuous, the world will come to an end. They will realize God. So that is not the nature of the world. The nature of the world is it consists of these duels. In the game of hide and seek, one must touch the granny in order to be free. There are various forms of this hide and seek. In this form, the old lady of the house is made to sit as the pillar. And then they hide here and there. And if somebody, without being caught, touches the granny, then he is out of the play. Others continue. So that is, he is referring to, one must touch the granny in order to be free. But the granny is never pleased if she is touched at the very outset. So this granny is like God. It is God's wish that the play should continue for some time. Nature of the world is explaining. Then, a song, out of 100,000 kites, at best but one or two break free. And thou dost laugh and clap thy hands, O mother, watching them. So, mother is joyful for the play to continue, and when one or two get free, mother is also happy. This is the Leela. In other words, after the practice of all spiritual discipline, that is the point, one or two have the vision of God through His grace and are liberated. Then the Divine Mother claps her hands in joy and exclaims, bravo, there they go. So what she wants, continue or mukti, that is the very nature of the Leela. That out of thousands, hundreds, one or two become free. And she is really happy at that. Hari, but this play of God is our death. Master smiling, please tell me who you are. That is the answer. Understood? If God is playing, we are suffering. So Thakur says, who are you? If you realize your real nature, then there is no suffering. You are product of that God's play. So you do not know what you are. And so you are the part of the play. So don't blame God for your suffering. That is the reply. The nature of the world is like this. If we take it to be real, we are suffering. If we know it is a play, we come out. So there is no blaming God. Why God is created like that? Why God? Instead of telling philosophically that you cannot challenge God, He tells it in a very practical manner. God alone has become all this. Maya, the universe, living beings, and the 24 cosmic principles. So God himself is you. You are not separate. And especially because Hari Maharaj is a Vedanti, he will immediately understand this. As the snake I bite and as the charmer I cure. So both sides God, huh? It is God's play. A similar incident in Mahapuruji's life. There were floods in what we call Bangladesh today, in the East Bengal. And so sadhus were going for doing relief work. So they come to seek blessings from Mahapurush Maharaj before their journey. Mahapurush Maharaj first says, go, go. I have not slept last 3-4 days to think of the plight of those people. And then he says, but what will you do? Some people have given you and that only you are giving. So give with love. And then he says, see the sport of Mahamaya. On one side, she is spreading the suffering. On the other side, she is raising compassion in the hearts of people and they go to relief. See, that is the vision of a Vedanti. Both are his play. As the snake I bite and as the charmer I cure. It is God himself who has become both Vidya and Avidya. Within Maya, the culture to go Godwards is Vidya. And to get more and more entangled in Maya is Avidya. He remains deluded by the Maya of Avidya. So the person who gets deluded also is God. Ignorance. Again, with the help of the Guru, he is cured by the Maya of Vidya, knowledge. So there is a Guru's place also. This is the play of God. What to say now? Find out your position and seek Guru if you have and go. So a realistic picture and a beautiful devotional picture, everything will of God and seek His grace. These lessons are conveyed. Don't fret and fume and blame God for your suffering. Ignorance, knowledge, and perfect wisdom. That is his pet theory. Adnan, Jnana, and Vijnana. The Jnani sees that God alone exists and is the doer. That also both. That he creates, preserves, and destroys. Both Nirgun, Sagun, Brahma. The Vijnani sees that God it is who has become all this. So creates, preserves, and destroys. But he himself is all. The total immanence of God is Vijnani's jurisdiction. Beautiful. That is the full knowledge. After attaining Mahabhav and Prema, one realizes that nothing exists but God. Now it acts in the language of Bhakti. Mahabhav is said to be the combination of 19 sub-moods of the 4 or 5 bhavas described in the Vaishnava literature. Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhur. So, Shanta has 4 subsections and other 4, no. Shanta has excluded because it does not yield to other things. Dasya has 4 and other 3 have 5 each. So 5 into 3, 15 and 4 of Dasya. Subsections. The last Prema, that extent is not in Dasya. So this becomes 19. And if one through Madhur Bhav has all this 19, that is called Mahabhav. And here he tells, after attaining Mahabhav and Prema, so Prema is the one of the last in the four categories. One realizes that nothing exists but God. So he talks in the Bhakti language. And then he is separating also. Bhakti pales before Bhava. Bhava ripens into Mahabhava and Prema. So what we know by Bhakti, it pales away. Higher than Bhakti is this Bhava and Mahabhava. So these are words for us. But for the man who understands, he will understand. So we find equivalence that in the full idea of immanence, God is everything is found out. And then this play goes on. To Banerjee. Now Banerjee was a sadhak who have been introduced that is to listen sounds. Do you still hear that gong-like sound at the time of meditation? Banerjee, yes sir, every day. Besides, I have visions of God's form. Do such things stop after the mind has once experienced them? So, as Thakur said, na, Bhakti pales into this, that, into that. And these experiences, though super sensuous, still smell of dualism. So, Narendra Banerjee is asking, when I go beyond, will they stop? Master, true, yes. When the wood catches fire, it cannot be put out. It will burn the whole wood. So all this bhava and everything beyond you go. To the devotees, he knows many things about faith. So Narendra Banerjee's quality, Thakur is showing to people. Banerjee, I have too much faith, more than necessary. Master, bring the women of your family with those of Balaram's. So the women of Narendra's family also seem to be devotees and they have not come to Thakur. Thakur wants them to come and be blessed. Now there will be contraction, how they can come. Now Balram's house, all the ladies used to come to Thakur freely. So he is telling, bring them with Balram's family. That is the idea. The women of Narendra's family seem to be holy, but they should get Thakur's blessings. They should come to Thakur. How they will come by themselves? Thakur himself solved the problem and tells him to bring them with Balram's. Now, Narendra Banerjee did not know Balram. Banerjee, who is Balram? Master, don't you know Balram? Thakur expects Balram is such a devotee that everybody should know him. He lives in Bospada, at Bospada, Bagh Bazar. These people also lived in Bagh Bazar. That is why Thakur said, do you not know Balram? And within Bagh Bazar, there are different parts, and one is Bospada. Balram Bose, na? So there is a section where all Boses live. Sri Ramakrishna loved guileless, now Master has remarked, Sri Ramakrishna loved guileless people. Narendra Banerjee was also up. Here, not also, Narendra Banerjee was absolutely guileless. The master loved Niranjan. So when he is talking to Banerjee, his guilelessness appears before him, and so by association, Thakur's mind goes to Niranjan. And that Master Master has intervened to say, how suddenly Niranjan comes in Thakur's mind? Because Naren Banerjee is guileless, so he remembers another guileless person, Niranjan. The master loved Niranjan because he too was without guile. It is the name of a boy, Nitya Niranjan, and he became Swami Niranjanananda later on. So this is Master Masha's introduction to what Thakur is going to tell. Master to him, see, everything should be connected. If we do not find connection, Master Masha is providing that connection. Master to him, why do I ask you to see Niranjan? It is to find out if he is truly guileless. So Master Masha will understand. Thakur knows it, but Master Masha will understand the guilelessness. So we come to the end of the long conversations of May 24, which was a Saturday. So we shift to the next day. We had varied things on this Saturday. The actor, the guileless Banerjee, Hari Maharaj, the Vedanti, those two ladies, and now lastly, Niranjan. Now, Sunday, May 25, 1884, Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the cement platform that encircled the trunk of the old banyan tree in the Panchavati. In Panchavati, there was a old banyan tree, and surrounding it was a circular boundary like where people could sit. Platform. Vijay, Sunday, na? Vijay Krishna Goswami, Surendra, who have come across him, Bhavanath, Rakhal, and other devotees were present. A few of them sitting with the master on the platform, the rest on the ground below. So it has become a pulpit. The devotees had thought of celebrating the master's birthday, which had to be put off because of his illness. So birthday is in February or March, but master's hand was broken in January. So they did not celebrate. And this is the first sign that his arm might have been cured or sufficiently cured. Since Sri Ramakrishna now felt much better, yes, that is the condition. The devotees wanted to have the celebration that day. A woman musician, a famous singer of Kirtan, was going to entertain them with devotional songs. So that is a tradition. Kirtaniya, both male and female are there. So the female Kirtaniya was called. That is the nature of celebration. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. M had been looking for Sri Ramakrishna in the master's room. When he did not find him there, he went to the Panchavati. So this is before M came, M has described this. When M came, M saw all this. So M came and was not finding master in his room. When he did not find him there, he went to the Panchavati and eagerly asked the devotees, where is he? He did not see Thakur at that time. He was standing right in front of the master, but in his excitement did not notice him. The devotees laughed loudly. That is what happens in excitation. Huh? A moment later, M saw Sri Ramakrishna and felt very much embarrassed. He prostrated himself before the master, who sat there facing the south and smiling happily. So he is always smiling and facing the south for the sake of our visualization. Kedar and Vijay were sitting at his left. Kedar is a devotee who I met him several times, who depends on faith. These two devotees had a misunderstanding recently when Kedar had cut off his connection with the Brahma Samaj. So Kedar was a member of Brahma Samaj, but when his sanskaras came, he was greatly Vaishnava. Later on, same thing will happen to Vijay Goswami. Master to M with a smile. You see how I have united them? So that might have been the first occasion they are sitting together. Because both of them loved Sri Ramakrishna. The master had brought a Madhavi creeper from Vrindavan in the year 1868 and had planted it in the Panchavati. The creeper had grown big and strong. Madhavi creeper, same perhaps in Marathi called Madhumalati. The creeper had grown big and strong. Some children were jumping and swinging from it. The master observed them and laughed. He said, they are like young monkeys. They will not give up swinging even though they sometimes fall to the ground. Noticing that Surendra was standing before him, the master said to him affectionately, come up and sit with us on the platform. Then you can dangle your feet comfortably. Master's talk is so affectionate, so lovely. And he wants Surendra to sit dangling his feet like we sit on chair. Surendra went up and took his seat. Bhavanath had his coat on. Surendra said to him, are you going to England? So mutually they are merry. Master smiling. God is our England. Paradesh, na? Beyond. Now and then I used to leave off my clothes. Now, no coat. Thakur used to give up all the clothes and joyfully roam about naked. Once Shambhu said to me, it is very comfortable to walk about naked. That is why you do it. Once I did it myself. So Shambhu finds it comfortable because free from bondage. Surendra, on returning from the office, as I put away my coat and trousers, I say to the Divine Mother, oh Mother, how tightly you have bound me to the world because of those clothes of the Western style. Master, there are 8 fetters. Now the talk changes. There are 8 fetters with which man is bound. Shame, hatred, fear, pride of caste, hesitation, the desire to conceal, and so forth. How many he has counted? Shame, hatred, fear, pride of caste, hesitation, desire to conceal. 6 he has counted and says so forth. Lajja, Gruna, Bhai, Kul, Shil, Man, Abhiman, and we are found sometimes. Anyway, here he has mentioned 6. We must follow their meaning. Shame, hatred, fear, pride of caste, hesitation. This seems to be new. That is, let me check up with Bengali. Lajja, Gruna, Bhay, Jati, Abhiman, Sankoch. Sankoch, contraction of the mind. That is called hesitation. And the desire to conceive, and so forth. Sri Ramakrishna sang. So now, birthday, full mood. Mother, this is the grief that sorely grieves my heart, that even with thee for mother, and though I am wide awake, there should be robbery in my house. Robbery here means mind has gone astray. Though he believes in the mother, though mother is present, and he also is alert, and yet this happens. So the fetters come in. He continued, in the world's busy marketplace, O Shama, thou art flying kites. So he brings back that kite example. High up that was on previous day, high up they soar on the wind of hope, held fast by Maya's string. Their frames are human skeletons. Their sails of the 3 gunas made. Their sails are made of 3 gunas. But all their curious workmanship is merely for ornament. Upon the kite string, thou hast rubbed the manja paste of worldliness. Now this one has to understand the Indian game of kites. The thread is made cutting thread by glass pieces, sand, with some paste. It is pasted on the thread. So when 2 kites and their strings, one will cut the other. That is the play. And when it is cut, it will fly off. So allegory, their frames are human skeletons. Their sails of the 3 gunas made, but all their curious workmanship is merely for ornament. Upon the kite strings, thou hast, mother, rubbed the manja paste of worldliness. That is what entangles, pinches, cuts, so as to make each straining strand all the more sharp and strong. Out of 100,000 kites, at best, but 1 or 2 break free. And thou dost laugh and clap thy hands, O mother, watching them. On favoring winds, says Ramprasad, the poet, the kite set loose will speedily be borne away to the infinite across the sea of the world. 1 or 2 are cut, but when the wind is strong, they will all be blown away. That is the Thakur's God's grace. Master, Maya string means wife and children. That makes their entangled. Upon the kite string, thou hast rubbed the manja paste of worldliness. Worldliness means woman and gold. String means wife and children. Manja paste means woman and gold. Oh. String means wife and gold that binds the kite. And manja, which entangles, is woman and gold. The 3 gunas, Thakur is explaining the allegory. The three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, have men under their control. They are like the three brothers. As long as sattva exists, it calls on rajas for help and rajas can get help from tamas. They are like three brothers, means they always stay together. Sattva will not remain. It will bring rajas, rajas will bring tamas. The three gunas are so many robbers. Tamas kills and rajas binds. Sattva no doubt releases man from his bondage, but it cannot take him to God. Sattva also is in the realm of Maya. God is beyond the three gunas. Vijay smiling. It is because Sattva too is a robber that he cannot take him to God. Master smiling. True. Sattva cannot take man to God, but it shows him the way. Okay. So place of Sattva is described. Bhavana, these are wonderful words indeed. Master, yes, this is a lofty thought. He is singing, but the credit is to the Ramakrishna. Listening to these words of the Master, the devotees felt very happy. Master, woman and gold is the cause of bondage. Woman and gold alone constitutes samsara, the world. It is woman and gold that keeps one from seeing God. Now he gives an example. Holding the towel in front of his face. Do you see my face anymore? Of course not. The towel hides it. No sooner is the covering of woman gold removed than one attains Chidananda, consciousness and bliss, nature of God. Let me tell you something. He who has renounced the pleasures of a wife has verily renounced the pleasure of the world. Very clear instruction. God is very near to such a person. The devotees listen to these words in silence. Become introspective. Master to Kedar, Vijay, and the other devotees. He who has renounced the pleasure of a wife has verily renounced the pleasure of the world. So he explains, repeating. It is woman and gold that hides God. You people have such imposing mustaches, and yet you too are involved in woman and gold. Very direct hit at the dear devotees because they can come out. Tell me if it isn't true. Search your heart and answer me. Vijay, yes, it is true. Kedar remained silent. Introspective, always silent means. Master, I see that all are under the control of woman. One day I went to the captain's house. From there I was to go to Ram's house. So I said to captain, please give me my carriage hire. He asked his wife about it. She too held back and said, what's the matter, what's the matter? At last captain said, Ram will take care of it. You see, the Gita, the Bhagavata and the Vedanta all go before a woman. Allah. That means the captain was expert in all these books, but in front of the wife he could not do anything. A man leaves his money, his property and everything in the hands of his wife. But he says with affected simplicity, I have such a nature that I cannot keep even 2 rupees with me. He shows as if he is unattached to money, but he is attached to his wife. That is why he keeps money there. Thakur can find out immediately. There are various forms of attachment. Woman and gold is telling. So gold he does not keep, but woman he loves. A man went to an office in search of a job. Several examples he gives here. Living examples. There were many vacancies, but the manager did not grant his request. A friend sent to the applicant, appeal to Golapi and you will get the job. Golapi was the manager's mistress, not wife, but she holds the key. So if you appeal to Golapi, she will tell the manager and then manager will accept. Men do not realize how far they are dragged down by women. Once I went to the fort in a carriage. The fort is 4 or 5 stories underground. Feeling all the while that I was going along a level road. At last I found that I had gone 4 stories down. It was a sloping road. So immediately we do not understand we are going down. A man possessed by a ghost does not know he is under the ghost control. He thinks he is quite normal. So that wife's influence is like the ghost effect. One forgets that one and it makes it very natural. How Thakur is analytically criticizing them, taunting them, hitting them. Vijay is smiling. But he can be cured by an exorcist if he finds one. So when you take the example of ghosts, he said exorcists are there, they know technique, they will rout the ghost. That means a proper guru. In answer to Vijay, Sri Ramakrishna only said that depends on the will of God. Then he went on with his talk about women. So he did not, did not much reference, it depends on the will of God. And he continued that talk of women. Master, everyone I talk to says, yes sir, my wife is good. Everyone says my wife is good. Nobody says that his wife is bad. Allah. Those who constantly live with women and gold are so infatuated with it that they don't see things properly. Chess players oftentimes cannot see the right move for their pieces on the board. But those who watch the game from a distance can understand the moves more accurately. Example of chess, huh? So, sannyasis can advise the householders how to do. That is the message. So we stop here. Announcement. Yesterday I told you, from today, the timing of this class will change. It will not be 7 to 8, it will be 7:30 to 8:30 from tomorrow. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibiredhitam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadaatatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.